Hi everyone, my name is Leo and with this video we will share a demo review of the Hotone FreqLux. First of all, we will hear the unit in action with the demo song, then we will describe the features and technical characteristics of this unit, and we have a lot to talk about. Then we will hear more sounds in a dedicated section of this video, and finally I will give you my 2 cents. So I hope you enjoy, and please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, as it would really help me to create more videos like this. Let's start with a brand new demo song. Let's now describe the main characteristics of this unit. The FreqLux is a pitch shifting and harmony pedal by Hotone. It features 3 independently adjustable harmony channels called H1, H2 and H3, each of which can be set to different pitch shifting modes and can work in combination with the others. So basically we can stack up to 3 different harmonies at the same time, which is quite interesting. Each harmony channel offers 5 operating modes. We have Poly, which is a polyphonic pitch shift mode that applies fixed intervals to whatever we play in real time. Then we have Key mode, which transposes according to selected key and scale, so the harmony always stays musically correct. Then there is Detune, which makes free pitch shift adjustments and is useful for creating chorus-like or doubling effects. Then Harp, which is similar to Poly, but when the flux function is active, it transposes following a scale in an arpeggiated manner. We will talk about a flux function later on. And finally Mode, where the signal bypasses pitch shifting entirely and goes directly into the FX module for modulation effects. Speaking of the FX module, each harmony channel has its own dedicated set of effects. We get vibrato with rate and depth controls, a delay with time and feedback, a drive for some overdrives, and a tremolo, plus an FX mix control to blend the effect with the harmony signal. So basically, each of the three voices can have its own independent effect chain, which adds a lot of sound design possibilities. Pretty crazy stuff here, I think. In terms of main parameters, for each harmony channel we can adjust pitch, which in poly and harp mode goes up to plus or minus 3 octaves, so from minus 36 to plus 36 semitones. Then we have a level, tone for brightness, swell for the attack smoothness of the harmony, and pan for the stereo positioning. These are 6 parameters per channel, included the mode 1, times 3 channels, so there is quite a lot to tweak here. Now, one of the most interesting features of this pedal is the flux function. In control mode, pressing and holding the flux foot switch allows the harmony pitch to change dynamically, creating glide and pitch shifting effects without needing an expression pedal. We can control the speed and curve of both the attack and release phases of the pitch movement. And there is also an auto flux mode that monitors our playing and generates automatic glide or arpeggio effects in real time based on note attacks. This is very nice. This can be set to trigger only the attack phase or both attack and release. Now, for those of you wondering, yes, the FreqLux can do whammy style effects. Since the poly mode supports polyphonic pitch shifting up to 3 octaves, and both the flux function and the expression pedal can control the pitch dynamically, we can do dive bombs, pitch glides, and all the kind of stuff we love. However, the way we achieve this is quite different depending on whether we use the flux or the expression pedal, and I think it is worth explaining the difference. The flux is essentially a momentary on-off control. We press and hold the foot switch and the pitch transitions from the drive sound to the preset switch value or vice versa, following a pre-configured speed and curve. So the behavior is predetermined. We set the attack time, the release time, the attack curve, and the release curve, and the flux does its thing. It only works in poly and harp mode. It is great for automatic glide effects, and the auto flux mode is really cool because it can trigger this pitch transition automatically based on our playing dynamics without even touching the foot switch. But in this way we don't have continuous real-time control over the exact pitch position. It is more of an automated sweep. The expression pedal, on the other hand, gives us continuous proportional control. The position of the pedal determines the exact value of the parameter at any given moment, just like a whammy pedal would. So, for a classic whammy style experience, where we want precise foot control over the pitch, the expression pedal is the way to go. But here is the interesting thing. The expression pedal is not limited to controlling just the pitch. We can assign it to any parameter or any of the 3 harmony channels, including level, tone, swell, pan, and all the FX parameters like delay time, feedback, drive, tremolo, and so on. The heel and the toe position can be set independently for each parameter, and these mappings are saved per preset. So each preset can have completely different expression pedal assignments. Pretty crazy. The signal flow uses what Hotone calls analog dry through, meaning the dry signal goes through a pure analog path, which should preserve the original signal's dynamics and tonal characteristics. The 3 harmony voices are processed digitally and then mixed with the analog dry signal. The unit supports up to 200 presets with 95 editable factory presets included, which are really inspiring. Each preset stores all harmony parameters, FX parameters, flux settings, expression pedal mapping, key and scale settings, and so on. In terms of connectivity, we have a 1/4-inch TRS input jack for stereo or mono input and 2 1/4-inch output jacks, so it supports both mono and stereo setups. Then we have two 3.5mm TRS jacks for MIDI through and MIDI in. The MIDI in jack can be also used for an expression pedal input. It also has a USB-C port for connecting to the Neon Collector companion software for preset management and firmware updates. The software runs on both Windows and Mac. So far, this software cannot be used in order to customize our signal chain, but Hotone told me that it should be done in the coming weeks. The MIDI implementation is actually quite comprehensive. We have CC control for all harmony parameters, all FX parameters, flux attack and release, global mix, plus action control for active on-off, flux triggering, auto flux, switch mode, switching and preset navigation. On the technical side, it runs at 32-bit processing with a signal to noise ratio of 115 dB, and it features what Hotone described as analog drive-through plus buffer bypass, as aforementioned. It has two switches that can operate in two modes. In preset mode, they scroll through presets with long press for tap tempo and flux time adjustment. In control mode, one full switch activates or bypasses the effect, and the other controls the flux function. We switch between the two modes by pressing both full switches simultaneously. Power supply is 9V DC at 0.5 ampere, but it is also compatible with USB power at 5 volts and 2 amperes. The dimensions are shown in the screen and it weighs 485 grams. The price is 299 euros or dollars. Let's now hear some more sounds. Final considerations here, and please notice that these are gonna be my personal opinions for my specific use cases, and you may not agree with me, and this is totally fine. Furthermore, Hotone has sent me this unit for free, and this video is actually sponsored, but as usually, Hotone has not seen the video before you, and they did not ask me to say anything. And before proceeding, I kindly ask you to subscribe and ring the bell, as it would really help me to create more content like this. First of all, let me say that I have had a lot of fun with this unit. I would say that this is a very inspiring and creative tool. I started using the unit browsing the presets, and guys, I wrote a new song for every preset. It was such a nice creative experience. In fact, actually the demo song has been created just playing with some factory presets, as they are really inspiring. The FreqLux is a pretty feature-rich harmony and pitch shifting pedal, having 3 independent harmony channels, each with its own FX section. This gives us the flexibility we need for creating complex, harmonized sounds. The flux function is genuinely useful and allows us for expressive pitch glides without needing a separate expression pedal, even if, of course, an expression pedal can be connected for more precise control. The analog drive-through design is a nice touch. The dry signal stays clean and unprocessed, which helps maintain the integrity of our tone. The stereo capabilities are welcome, especially when panning the 3 harmony voices across the stereo field. The MIDI implementation is comprehensive, and that's something I always appreciate in a pedal. Having full CC control over all parameters means it integrates well into a more complex setup. At 299 euros or dollars, it is not the cheapest pedal on the market, but considering that we get 3 independent pitch shift engines with individual effects, the flux function, stereo I/O, MIDI and the expression pedal support, it offers a pretty rich amount of features for the price, in my opinion. Now, in terms of things to consider, the learning curve is not negligible, with 3 harmony channels, each having 6 main parameters and 7 FX parameters, plus FX setting, preset setting, expression pedal mapping, MIDI configuration, etc. There is a lot to explore and configure. Hotone told me that the editing app should be released soon, and this for sure will help. The pedal relies on 3.5 mm jacks for MIDI and expression pedal, which means we will likely need adapters. This is understandable given the compact size, but it is worth keeping in mind. All in all, the FreqLux is an interesting pedal for anyone looking for a compact, versatile harmony and pitch shifting solution with creative features like the flux function. It packs a lot into a pretty small enclosure. And once again, for me, the greatest pro of the unit is the fun and the inspiration I went through using this pedal. I really enjoy using it. We have now reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did it, please subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell and leave a thumb up, as it would really help me to create more content like this. If you are interested in my ARs or in my Tonix profile or non-profiles, you can check out the link in the card above or description below, where there is also a link to my new EP, Art, Love, Freedom. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.